Welcome back to the podcast. Happy New Year, everyone. Officially, Happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, Happy New Year, yeah.
Finally in 2022 or 2020 version 2.
Better one? Version 2, yeah.
I've never heard that before, version 2.
Really?
Yeah, hopefully not.
I saw a meme that was like, it was like, oh, you thought you were getting 2022, but it's 2020 the second time.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, don't do that.
Fingers crossed it's not going to be that bad.
Let's just hope everybody who watches or listens to this has a great year coming up, and just be happy in general. Like that's what my New Year's resolution is. Just keep on going with what I do because it makes me happy. I finally found my thing and it works, and I'm really happy about it too.
Finally found your thing.
I found my thing. I found my great job. I found really great people. What?
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't say that.
What
Don't
did she
answer.
Say?
Nothing.
Kel, what did she say?
Don't worry.
I said, cheers with our coffee cups.
Cheers.
Come on with your microscopic coffee cup. Cheers.
Microscopic, it's normal.
Yeah.
I know everything's big in America, but damn.
I mean, apparently.
Yeah, Paul showed me something else the other day.
Oh dear.
What are we?
so we're back with myself, Skell, the Funky Fox, and Sassy Cass.
Hello.
So yeah, as said, big Happy New Year to everyone. We're recording this on the 1st of January, 2022. So
definitely.
Literally, I think we've just pretty much all rolled out of bed and jumped onto this. Some of us a
little later.
Yeah, some of us a little bit later. And thankfully, that segues straight into my first thing, which is what bad habits would we like to get out of in 2022?
That's what you wanted to talk
about? The bad habits? Yeah, definitely. The bad habits for me, I don't really acknowledge any bad habits. Maybe quit smoking. That's the only thing that's bad, but I don't know.
Or like unproductive things or whatever. Anything that you feel is maybe slightly negative or whatever.
I'm spending way too much time on video games sometimes. I can really get lost into video games. And that's fine too, but some things are laying around because of that. Like, I still need to do my laundry like 2 times. And I'm thinking, nah, not today. Not today. I can wear something else tomorrow. I have enough clothes. So that's like sometimes be a little less lazy than I am.
Yep.
That's what it is for me.
Yeah, I think for me, I've got try and stop snacking as much as I do, because I snack all the time, like throughout the days, and especially if there's like chocolates around. Big weakness. And then
no, you literally are shaped like a god. You don't need that. Buddha's a god too.
That's true. Yeah.
Shaped like a fat one, maybe, but the god of food, I don't know. Cassie nearly just spat out a drink.
Funny things when I'm drinking. Please don't say the funny things, because it's just gonna go all over my computer, and all of a sudden I'm not gonna be here anymore.
Well, I mean, you're not here for most of the time anyway.
No, because you're late.
Yeah,
like
because you're
late.
Rude.
Time management. That's her thing. We can fill it in for her. Like she'll be. We agreed to do this podcast like half an hour before this. She wasn't there. She was the one who made the plan to be early.
Yeah, she requested to do it early.
Yeah, because we are literally recording like 6 hours earlier than we do normally. And we were up and running. I think you were the first in. I was like 2 minutes later, and then Cassie came in like half an hour later or so.
Okay,
I know casually late is a thing, but not that late. Come on.
It is a thing. I set my alarm for PM instead of AM. Okay, let's get that out of the way right now.
And that's why she's the blonde.
Yep. And that's why Skell has the lead over everything.
I would like to work on... Wow.
Dog's going.
She would like to work on.
I think the dog's going crazy, people. That's why she cut out.
The dog is going crazy, and I have my nephews here and my son, and they're all in the living room playing Fortnite. And I'm gonna throw something against the wall. In the new year, I would like to work on my awareness which I guess my time management
Oh.
kind of fits into that.
Awareness.
Like my awareness of things. So my awareness of time, my awareness of people in the games that I'm playing, I just have no awareness.
Like Luca would say, no shot, bro.
No shot. I
That
don't
will
think
not
it's gonna
happen.
work. But I'm gonna work on it. Like
That's
I'm
true.
gonna work on my time management. And you know what? It's not only in like the streaming world, it's not only in like my, our podcasting. Like my time management at school is really good, but because I have timers set for everything. And because I work so much out of school, I have everything planned to a T. So, like, yes, I'm one of those people that will be like, oh, but like I had all this stuff planned and now you're just throwing an assembly at me and all my plans are ruined. But I flow with it. Like, it's fine. It's not a big deal. But inside, I feel like I'm going to explode. But it seems like outside of school, my time management is a lot more like flimsy. And it's because it's not just me. Like when I'm at school, my time management is just me handling everything with my alarms going off, knowing when to switch things and what to do. But at home, it's like I have three other people and a dog and two cats that, kind of dictate what I'm doing. So, like when I'm streaming, I can't stream at the time that I want to stream if I have to go to a basketball game or if I have to cook dinner and I didn't get home until an hour later. So now my dinner is pushed back. Like, it's just time management is so important, and I feel like outside of school, that's my biggest thing I need to work on, which comes with the alarms and getting up late and coming to podcasts late and stuff like that. So I'm trying, but it's difficult for me. It is difficult.
What's this awareness of people or what?
People in games.
In
Scale.
games,
She
that's what I
rather
said.
shoots a wall than she shoots
I
people.
do shoot walls a
Oh,
lot.
okay, right, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I shoot
Right.
trees a lot too. I run into trees with cars, with planes, with my body.
In game only, by the way.
Yeah, in game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
as far as we know, Fox.
I've never gotten
Yeah,
to an
yeah.
accident,
I
so I'm okay.
I wouldn't want her to fly like a plane and crash into something.
No.
In real life, that
No, but it'd
wouldn't
be funny if she walked into a tree occasionally.
Yeah, or a stop sign or something like that.
Miss the Pizza went into a pole at Hershey Park the one time. We were walking out. She was young. She was probably like 8 or 9, maybe. And we were walking out, and it was dark out. And she's like turned around, talking to, I don't know if it was me, it was Scream Queen, or it was Momcast. She turned around talking to us, and like she turns back and just smack right into the pole. And I was like, it was so funny. And then
You will
everybody
laugh.
laughed.
Yeah, definitely.
You're okay. And she's like, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I want to be buried
Yeah.
right now. Shame, but I'm fine.
Yep.
Hopefully, like 1,000 people saw it though. That's the best. It's when you don't want people to see it.
Yeah, that's the best. But then it always happens. When you don't want it, it always happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
So,
that's so good.
I mean, that's what I think. I also agree with the snacking though, but I feel like since I had COVID, I don't do a lot of snacking because I still can't taste a lot of things and my smell is still off. So I said to KP, maybe that was the issue all along is I smell things and I'm like, oh my God, like now I'm hungry, even though I wasn't hungry. Because I've noticed like since I lost my smell and taste, I was eating like one time a day. And I was only eating because I needed to take the zinc vitamins. So I was like forcing myself to eat in the morning, but then I didn't eat again until the next day because I wasn't hungry, because I wasn't smelling food. But then now, like, the smell's starting to come back, and I'm noticing that I'm more hungry now that I can smell things. It's just really weird how that works. I don't really know. I don't know.
Since I live on my
Crazy
own, I don't have a regular eating schedule as well. I cannot eat for a single day and do not care about it. If I'm not hungry, I won't eat. That's what it is for me.
Yeah,
Like,
I will.
no, yeah, but you have to. It's different for you because you have like people to take care of. I am on my own, and then I'm losing time. Like I'm editing a video or I'm doing something different, and then I'm thinking, well, oh, it's like 10 o'clock. Oh, I need to get ready for bed. And I haven't even thought about food. It's not unhealthy. It's just like I don't really I enjoy food very much, don't get me wrong, but if I'm not hungry, I won't
But
cook
you're
for
a
myself.
smoker, Fox. You're
Wow.
Why are you
smoking.
calling me
It's
out
just
right now? This is
it's
I'm just
below the
shaming.
waist.
saying.
Yeah.
No,
Below the
that's
belt.
a thing. You didn't know that? That's a thing. That's an actual thing.
That
If you
smokers
are a
go to hell? Yes.
smoker, it replaces food. So like that's why my sister-in-law said that when she quit smoking, she gained weight because she was then replacing the smoking with eating. But when she was smoking, she didn't feel that it was necessary to eat because she was doing the motion. So
So
her
can I
body,
can
I
I
guess, was confused.
redo my
Can
bad
I
habits? I'm not
can I
quitting
just
smoking.
can I just
You're quitting
it,
smoking.
can I
No.
just interject for 1
I'm
second?
going to send you nicotine
If
packs.
anyone listening to this wants to lose weight, we are not promoting smoking, by the way.
Do not smoke.
We are not. No.
No,
We are not.
no,
Just wanted to
no.
make sure we put that out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We do not promote it.
PSA. Don't smoke. I don't
Don't
smoke.
do it.
What was I going to say? The other thing I think it's easier for me and Fox because we live on our own, so it's easier for me obviously to plan my like food shop as well. So I actually find that now I do all my shopping online for food, so it gets delivered to my house rather than going out. And but I rather that I've done that because when I'm walking around the supermarket, I walk past like the chocolates and I go, oh, I'll just grab a bag. I'll just grab a bag.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I
I
won't
do
eat
too.
it right away, but I
Yeah.
will definitely take that one home. Maybe one. Oh no, and then the
But-
bag's empty.
So the worst
That's
one,
what happens to
the
me
one
too.
worst one for me is I'll often walk past the chocolate aisle and I go and I look down it and I go, no, I'm gonna be good. I'm not. And then
Yeah.
and then I get to the, as I would call it, crisps, but chips over there in the US. I get to that aisle and I go, oh well, I'll just buy a big like family pack of this instead. And it's like, I said it was going to be good.
So you're just trading one
Yeah.
for the
Yes,
other.
exactly. Whilst because I do it online, I don't have that like urge to order
Yeah.
stuff. So
I was going to ask you if you have that urge, yeah. Because I am still going, I'm really good at food shopping. I just make a list and I'm shopping what I need to shop and then I'm out. I don't get seduced by candy. I don't really, sometimes I really have the urge and then I'm just going for like a chocolate bar or something. But the thing for me is I had that too, where I was like, if I have candy at my house, it's going. Like I'm eating. But I'm eating it all. Even if I'm sick, I'm eating still. That's my problem. Where there's like a family pack, I'll eat the whole family pack. I don't care. So I stopped buying that, and now my mom, because that's what moms do. I told her I did not eat yesterday because I was not hungry. And then the next day there was like a whole shopping bag full of like food. And she says,
Aw,
"Well,
he's so
you have to
sweet.
eat this." And I'm like, "Mom, I'm not hungry." And she said, "Yes," and I still ate. So because she knows it's I don't really have to take care of anyone besides my cat, but my cat eats well, so I'm good. Right?
So when I
Yeah.
lived on my own, it was really only like I want to say like 4 months or something. Before KP and I moved in together. Again, because we broke, so we had like a little break and then we got back together. For that 4 months, I could tell you I barely ate anything because I was living in an apartment and I was working at a daycare. So I would have coffee when I got to the daycare, and then for lunch, like whatever I had, maybe celery and peanut butter. But like my fridge was not stocked because I lived in a very tiny apartment. I did not have a lot of money. I would come home from work. I went out for a run and then I would come back. I every day made either a bowl of ramen noodles or a bowl of pasta, sometimes with a salad, sometimes not. And then that was it. And then by the time I was done eating, it was like 8 o'clock. I watched a little TV and went to bed. And that's all I did for 4 months. It was insane. But then now, like, so I struggle with weight. I always have, even when I was in like high school, like I've always struggled with, you know, not being super thin. And so I've done things like the meal replacement shakes and things like that, which are great in theory. They're great in theory. I love them, especially in the summer because they're cold. I like to make them frozen instead of just like milk or water.
Hmm.
And they taste really good and they keep me refreshed and hydrated. But the problem is, for them to be effective, you eat them for dinner. So
Yeah.
I was having one for either breakfast or lunch, where I was having 2 meals a day. So I would have one shake for either breakfast or lunch, and then for dinner, I would have a meal. Well, I tried for 25 days. I did it. I lost like 15 pounds. I did it for dinner. But can I tell you how freaking hard it is to sit at a dinner table after you've prepared dinner for an hour and sit there with a shake and watch your family eat a meal
But
that you know is good because you made it and
but
you can't eat it.
I
It
really
was
think
so horrible.
I really think that's messed up with our society these days.
Right.
By the way,
Right.
I wanted to talk about that. It's a segue, but
Yeah.
I'm looking on Instagram too, and I see a lot of like thin, really thin, healthy, like happy people, and I got over it because I feel like there's a lot of body shaming going on. If you're like a bit bigger, there's no problem in that, by the way.
Nope.
Um, but I think the skinnier you are, the unhappier you are, and I can even tell why I think that. It's just because you have the feeling you have to be thin all the time. So you have to work out, eat shakes, be cautious of what you eat. You can't go to like McDonald's twice a month because you feel like you're getting fat. And that's what's wrong with these days society, because everything that you see on the internet portrays that you're happy if you're thin. And
Right.
that's my problem too. So um I'm not the skinniest, but I'm not fat. But I'm good the way I am. I started learning that because I am good the way I am. But it's like mentally really hard. I really get why people get anorexia, to be
Yep.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
because if you see like a supermodel, everybody wants to look like that if you're a girl that age, I think. With men, it's different than with women, I think.
Sometimes.
I don't really think that I'm seeing a guy with great abs. I'm like, wow, I need to lose 15 pounds to look like that.
Right.
That's maybe my mindset,
Well,
but
so Skell and I are a little older, and I don't know if Skell, if you remember when like we were
Just call me
younger
old.
growing up. No,
Yeah.
I said we're a little older than Fox. Literally growing
sound
up,
great.
like as a kid in middle school and high school, the only things that we ever saw were the really thin people. Like think about Paris Hilton. She literally had no body. She was like
Hmm.
nothing. Her there was the models. What is the one that they have in Family Guy? Oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Is it Kate Middle? No, Kate.
Kate Middleton.
No, it's not Kate Middleton. I
Kate
can't remember her
Upton.
name, but
Kate.
they make fun of the one model who
Mm.
was like super anorexic thin, and like
Oh
that's
yeah.
all we saw. Like any runway models, they were all like super skinny, and
Yeah.
so growing up, you kind of thought like that was the only thing that was attractive. That's the only thing that was worth it.
Well, yeah. So I think um, our society is still not perfect, obviously, but I think it is better. So you're right.
It is
You know, back in the day, and this is why I don't like really shopping at um, like fashion brands. Fashion brands, is that the right? Well, you know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you go to, you look at all these fashion awards, and you're right. Like all these women, you know, for a long time they were promoting size 0, and it's like no one should
Right.
be size
Who
0.
wants to be a size 0?
And so there's a shop. It's a major brand. I don't know whether I should shame them or not.
Do it.
So it's Hollister, which is part of the Abercrombie and Fitch
Yeah.
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
And one of my friends went to work there, and she's a size. Now, obviously, I don't know what the difference is in the US, but she's a size.
Because yours are numbers, right?
Yeah, she's a size 6 or 8. I can't quite remember. And she got told that she was too big.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when she came back and told, this was at uni, when she came back and told us, we were like, what do you mean? Like, they were like, oh, you need to drop a size or 2. And it's like, what's that about? And I remember like there were back in, this was what, 2010 sort of time. There was like some news articles which came out in the UK around like Hollister, where they said that, for example, they dim their, if you go into their shops, their lights are really dim, and it's so that people can't really see what they look like when they're wearing the clothes. And then the other thing was that they've been found on like 2 occasions. Again, hopefully it's changed, but I don't go into that shop because of what's happened. Where they hired people who had like disabilities, as in like a prosthetic arm or whatever, and they then only put them in backroom jobs because they didn't want people to see them at front of house. And it's like, that like whole kind of mentality and that like promoting size 0, it's just completely wrong. And I think we've got better, but we're still not there in terms of promoting, you know, it's good to, or it's fine to be, you know, of a certain weight. There's like a happy kind of medium, you know, or range rather than the medium that you can like be within. Obviously, you shouldn't go too far where you're bedridden and you can't move, but at the same time, you shouldn't be, you know, absolutely stick thin. And
it's like what they're portraying as well, and it's the same. It's getting better. I get you, but the same for me is with mental health now.
Yeah.
There's a lot more attention to it, which is really good because it's literally a disease that it's not seen, but it is there, and it's really, really good that there's more awareness to that. But I still think it's a shy topic to talk about because everybody that thinks that they should talk about might think that they're crazy. So that's the problem with the mental thing. But the body shaming, I really don't get that. I really think that everyone should be happy on their own, even if if you weigh like 140 kilos. In I don't care. Like that's a lot. I get it. I don't get it. Skel, can you convert?
Be like 350 towards 400 pound.
So that's kind of where what I wanted to say is like, one, it's kind of just human decency. Like, if you don't want to date someone that weighs that much, then don't date them. There's no reason to make fun of them. Like, you're
But
not perfect either. But I think that instead of promoting, 400 pounds, like this is perfect, or 90 pounds, this is perfect, they should be more working on being healthy, because there are people that are 250 pounds that are not stick thin, don't have abs, but they work out regularly. Their heart is in good condition. Like, it's not about your skin. It's about how your body on the inside fares, because that person could probably live longer than the anorexic 90-pound person who, you know, doesn't take care of themselves.
isn't it
So, I
just
don't,
about how you feel?
and
Like
yeah, but
I
that
don't.
person feels great because they're working out, they're still eating, the things that they want to eat. They're not restricting themselves from everything
Yeah,
like some people do. It's just,
but you limit
I think
yourself
it's
to
more
one
healthy.
number again. I think even if you're like 400 pounds or 250, if you're good at where you're at, if you're happy, then it's
Yeah,
fine.
it's
At least when I'm dating, you said something about like being bigger size, which is great. But if for me it's about personality rather than how big you are. Like if you are, I rather date someone who is really happy with themselves but a bigger than somebody who weighs like 200 pounds and is miserable because she thinks she needs to work out like 5 times a week to be able to be happy, which is not the thing at all. For me at least. But
yeah.
if you're getting happy with 5 times with going to the gym 5 times a week, then be my guest.
I think
But I don't do it.
I think generally you'll find that people, when I said like that range, you'll probably find that people within that range are generally happy. And that range, I mean, is big. It might be from 120 pound to like 350 pound or whatever. Obviously, it depends on your height and
Yeah.
things like that. Because Big Show's like 500 pounds, but he's like 7'4", so it doesn't look anything on him. But I think you'll find the people who are very anorexic or overweight to the point where they're like bedridden, you probably find aren't actually that happy because kind of quality of their life isn't generally as good.
True.
Right.
I
And
get
really,
that,
like,
but yeah, sorry.
no, that's okay. You can go.
I think it's more about we should stop body shaming
Yeah.
people. That's
Yeah.
what it
Oh,
is.
yeah.
If you are 400 pounds but have the time of your life and
Oh,
are
yeah, just enjoy
happy
it.
the way you
Yeah.
are, just enjoy it. Why
Yeah.
do other people always have to judge others? Like,
Because there's
look at
that's
your
just how
freaking
society
self.
is.
Yeah.
If you need to judge people, you're not happy with yourself. I'm getting annoyed because of people. I had that too, where there was a guy like, wow, you suck, you are fat, and I'm like, maybe, but I don't care. I at least have people that care about me and I'm happy. Who do you have? That's normally what I do, because I don't think it's really fair to judge people on their appearance. That's what it is.
Right, you don't
I'm
know
not a
what
Brad Pitt, but
yeah.
I think I'm not ugly. I'm good.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what you all should. This is turning
Yeah.
into a wholesome podcast, but I think that you should find your own thing. Like, I found mine. I have a great job. I'm gaming with people I really love. I'm seeing people outside. I'm enjoying my food. I eat regularly. I work out. I'm good. If I'm not working out like 3 times a week, I'm good too. I'm happy. That's what it should be all about.
Yeah, it's your own personal kind of
My granddad
where you
gave
want to
the
be.
my granddad gave the perfect thing for me. He said, like, well, they don't have to live your life. So who cares what they are saying? If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
happy, then live your own life. And that's what
Yeah.
it should be about. Live life with the people that make you happy.
Yeah.
Or the people you need. Like, my boss doesn't make me happy, but I need it to be happy.
you
I
need
need
to be
money to
happy,
be
yeah,
happy.
yeah.
And it's like the best thing for me to be able to be happy. So that's what it is. I generally look, if I got like 5 million, I wouldn't work anymore. That's
Yeah.
the thing. But do I enjoy my job? Heck yeah, I enjoy my job.
See,
Do
I
I go
wouldn't
to
work.
my job and say, "Meh, I don't want to today"? Yeah, of course I will have some day where
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, "No, I don't want to go to work." But does it make it a bad job? No.
No.
Yeah.
So that's
I think a lot of it has to do with parenting. Like, I was not raised to make fun of people for anything, for any situation. And we actually had this, it's funny that we mentioned this because we had this conversation last night while we were watching Cobra Kai. I don't know if you've seen the new season,
mhm.
but they actually go from the main characters are in high school, and now they're showing the one high schooler's brother who's in middle school, and then there's a new kid that comes in, and they are tormenting this kid incessantly. And he is a sweet kid, like, comes in happy to be there, and these kids are relentless against him because he's new and they just don't like him, and he didn't do anything to
Mm.
deserve that. So we had this conversation on the couch yesterday, and I was like, there's absolutely no reason for you to ever be, disrespectful to someone, rude to someone, like nothing. Like, especially, this kid just comes to this school. Why wouldn't you be nice to him? He didn't show you any reason for you to then be disrespectful. Like, we teach our children, you are respectful, period. If someone disrespects you, you kind of go away. Like, you do not give them the time of day. And some parents do not teach it that way. And I think if if your parents are not tough enough in that area of
Mhm.
respect and manners, those kids are going to continue to escalate. Whereas, like, if, let's say if Mia, like, called a girl a nasty name and then pushed her, there would be consequences for that, and she would not do it again. And if she did do it again, there would be more consequences. Whereas
Definitely.
some parents are like, "Oh,
Yeah.
don't do that." And that's it. And that's
I
like that's as far as it goes. Well, I'm sorry, that kid's not going to listen and is going to escalate, and it's really sad because it's just creating a cycle of nastiness. Like,
I
that's where
actually
it
have a
starts.
great example for that too. Obviously, I'm in sales. I sell bathrooms for a living. So what I do, there was like a woman with like 4 kids in the shop, in the store or shop, and they were like getting their hands on everything, but literally everything, like hands on the mirrors and stuff. And I literally asked her, can you please keep your kids from touching
Touching everything,
everything
yep.
because it's COVID and we do need to like wipe everything afterwards. So you can look at it, of course, but don't touch anything. And she was going to me, she was ranting at me. She was like, well, you're not the parent and whatever. And I was literally, I bursted. My boss laughed afterwards. I just said no, because if it was going to be my kids, I would have grabbed them by the arm and took them outside and told them not to touch anything. Because I think a lot of parents are soft these days because they think this is a society too, where a lot of people just have more of an opinion, which is good, but people like parents don't really correct their kids because they think they will be emotionally damaged or scarred, I think. And no way, like my mom did what Kaz said, she did that to me too, because I wasn't the nicest kid out there, but when I got home and I told her, I either got a beating or I was grounded, and it was good. I learned from that, and it's done. I'm not mentally scarred for that. It's just good parenting, and that's what it is. But I can figure why some parents just go, no, don't do that, Billy, don't do that, no, bad Billy, and then they do it again, and they're like, no, don't do it, please don't. And I'm like, why? If my kid was running around in a shop screaming, I would be like, let's go out, buddy, we're going.
Right.
And you're going to your room right now, and you're sitting here.
Yep.
Exactly. It's like expecting different results from the same reaction.
Definition of insanity.
It's the same with like
Fast.
everything. Training animals. It's the same with kids. It's the same with adults. Like if your boss said, "Don't be late. Don't be late.
Yeah.
Don't be late." Oh, you're late again, but there was no consequence. I'm going to be late every day. Who cares?
Yep.
Like if there is no reason for me to be here on time, I'm going to be late. I don't care because there's no consequence. But I agree. Like that's insane. Like because if you're taught that way from an early age that there's no consequence and then it keeps going throughout your life, you're not going to care. You're just going to do whatever. Now, I would not be late to work because like if I get fired, I won't be able to eat. So like, I mean,
so what you're telling me, Cass, is that I have to start punishing you for turning up late to the podcast.
Yes, that's exactly what has to happen. Yes, 1,000%.
No, but I agree. Like, and it was interesting how you said what your granddad said to you, Fox. So my gran on my mum's side is very Christian, and she's always taught me. Obviously, it's part of like the Bible, which is treat others how you wish to be treated. And I think that's always the like way you should go. And it was interesting because we were having a chat with my sister just over the like Christmas period, because she was talking about my nephew's just about to go to secondary school, which I guess would be your middle school. And we were discussing about, what's the closest school to where he lives? And she was like, it's this one. But he's definitely not going to that because it's like horrific for bullying. And it's like such a shame that like schools get like this like name for, or this reputation for bullying. So she's like, so the plan is that because his parents my sister and his dad are separated. So what they're doing is it based off his address, they're going to try and get him in certain better schools. But it's just like it's a weird thing where we live in this like society where, as you said, people are just so weakened to like everything.
Kids
they're
need
too scared.
To be toughened more. Yeah. Parents are. I don't get how parenting works because I'm obviously not a parent. But I would do something different where I'm like, the world is tough out there. Like kids will be kids, so they bully. My nephew got bullied, and then basically what my aunt said was like, you are not allowed to hit people. But he still did it once, and now he's gone. They do not bully him anymore. That's what my mom told me too, and it's not a good example, by the way, for if you're listening. But if people are bullying, stand up for yourself. Just do it. Just big mouth them too, so they know you are not playing around. That's basically what it is. You need to show, like in a early age, you need to show what you're capable of. Because people that are like, I'm not going to call it weak, but like are not too ready to like talk back, they will get bullied because the bullies will think, well, it's an easy target basically. And I got always left alone. I did my own thing, and it's all right. I was like floating in between all groups, which was amazing because I had a good time at high school. But um, I got bullied 1 week, and then I stood up for myself, and never again,
Right.
never. And that's what some kids lack too. If you're like, no, don't do that, don't do it, they are not prepared to be in the big world because they
Yeah.
get shielded off. Like my mom is a teacher too in like secondary school, I think it is, and or middle school, like year 2 at least. So she's like, she talked to a kid who like was hitting on another kid, like physically hitting another
Yeah.
kid. So she put him in timeout, which is like the reasonable thing to do. And then um, the kid ran to his parents and said, "Well, the miss put me in timeout," and they were mad at my mom for doing that. And I'm like, what kind of opposite world is this?
Yeah.
Are you allowing your kid to hit other kids without repercussions? That's so wrong.
Yep.
So I have a good story for this, which is funny because I didn't think this would come up, but we literally talked about this last night with my husband's mom. Because so I don't know how it is where you guys live, but all of the kids now growing up are all so entitled. Like, I don't know why you feel like you're entitled, but you're entitled. So there is this kid. I don't know who it is. My mother-in-law said it's someone she knows, their 13-year-old. And he did something bad at school. I don't know what it was. I don't know if he was bullying somebody, hit somebody. I don't know. But came home and the dad said, "Listen, if you do this again, you will get beat with the belt. Like, that's it. Like, you cannot do this. This is your warning. The next time there's going to be a consequence." Like, I think that's good parenting. You
Me
got
too.
your warning, you
Yeah.
know that's bad. Now, if you do it again, this is your fault. Like, you have decided to get in trouble for this. Well, that stupid kid went back to school and told teachers at school, like
Mm.
spread it all around, that his dad threatened him. So what happened to the family? The dad got a CPS call, wasn't allowed to live at the house anymore with his 3 children and his wife, had to move out and get an apartment because this kid lied about being threatened. That's not being threatened. You deserve that. Then, year later, went to rehab because this kid has mental illness, but there's no retracting what happened before. So now this father still cannot live at home with his family because his kid was so entitled that thought, "Oh, my dad's going to beat me." Well, yeah, if you're hurting someone, you need to have a consequence. I don't necessarily believe it has to be getting beat or whatever, but there has to be something to tell you in your developing brain that that is not okay.
Yeah.
But
It's
all of these kids now think that, getting punished is like the end of the world. I'm going to tell an
Mm.
adult because my mom's
That's
mean.
that's the
No, you deserve
society
it.
now too. Like
It's insane.
the call he got is like, that's what's wrong with this.
Right.
Like he got the call too. They could have said like, well, this is good parenting. We let it alone and let it
Right.
slide. But they do it either. They didn't do it either. So it's both of their fault. I think it's
They
like the
didn't do
system's
any
fault too.
research. They just automatically said, "Okay, well, we're done." Usually you have to do research. There has to be other instances where that is considered abuse. Like, you didn't even do anything. Like, he
Yeah.
didn't even do anything. He just said he was going to the next time. Well, in a normal brain, you're thinking, "Okay, well, I'm not going to do that again then because
Yeah.
I'm then going
Yeah.
to get beat." Like, that's not threatening someone with murder. Like,
Yeah.
it's not out in the adult world. Like, like, even if I threatened you, Scal, and said, "I'm going to murder you," you can't send me to jail for that. Like, you can get a restraining order. You can tell and report it, but I don't go to jail. Like, That's what I don't understand. This is not the movie Minority Report. You can't, put someone in jail or, whatever, arrest them for something that they didn't commit, a crime that they did not do. Like, that
Yeah.
is what's wrong with our
Yeah.
society.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think so I think only once did I ever get a smack bottom when I was like young for being like naughty,
Me too.
but that was it. But because my parents worked away a lot, I had to have a nanny look after me for quite a bit. And the way that she dealt out punishment to me,
Money.
Rich people problems.
yeah, rich people problems. But the way that she dealt with me and how I think I managed to kind of grow up so well without, my parents almost having too much involvement was if I did something really good, so maybe like help someone, I got a treat. Almost like you do with a dog. Like if you do something good, it's like, here's a treat. It would be like, do you want some ice cream? Do you want a McDonald's? Do you want something? Or do you want or you get an extra hour or whatever watching TV. But then if I was naughty, I'm really ticklish, so she would literally sit on me and then tickle me to death. So I was like, no, I'm never being naughty again. That's it.
No, but that's how the normal human brain should work. You get punished, you set base rules, and you have to get your thing to like work it. Like if I told you do not kick the dog and you kick the dog, there's repercussions.
Yep.
100%. That's what it is. And kick the dog is like a really hard example because if you kick the dog anyways, it's wrong. But if you don't do something that you shouldn't be allowed to do, then there's repercussions, even if it's timeout. I put my nephew a lot on the stairs, like a closed off area where there's the stairs, and he's like 2 minutes in the stairs. And my friends came over the other day, and I had my nephews on, coming over too, to like, because my aunt needed to go. And then I put both of them on the stairs, but both of them on the upstairs and one on the downstairs, because otherwise they will communicate and just riot again. So then they both cried, and my friends were like, why are you doing this? They're crying. And I'm like, no, he needs to learn his actions and that they're not good. And after a minute, he asked me, Fox, can you come and can I go out? And then yes, and then he apologized, so it was all fine. But that's like his repercussion of his error. I think he threw like a Lego block at his brother or something. That's what he did. And it's not bad because it's a kid, so he did not murder him or something, but he needed to put in timeout. Yeah. And then my nephew said to my aunt, yeah, he did that. And my aunt was like, yes, do you want 1 more minute? Because you can get it. That's like basically what it is. He does not get emotionally scarred because he only has to sit on the stairs, but he definitely knows he did something wrong. Like hitting with a belt, I don't know what kind of severe action. I wouldn't really reside to like hitting someone, but if that's necessary, it's necessary. As long as you don't hit him without cause, that's fine.
Yeah, and reasonable force. That's kind of the thing I was going to say is that I think the problem is that, and it happened at like my school, and I think it's just like a society thing, is that like, and the way that so I got taught like management just in terms of like managing people was you will spend 99% of your time with 1% of the people that you manage, and you'll only spend 1% of your time with 99% of the people that of your team. And that's because that 1% effectively ruin it. There will always be that kind of like troublemaker, and I think that's the same with like society, not in terms of like troublemakers, but there is that like 1%, 5%, whatever, that go too far with like say beating like children, and therefore like governments have stepped in and certainly like the UK, you cannot you're not supposed to touch a child in any sort of way physically, so you're not supposed to a belt or even a slap, and it's that sort of thing of they can then go and contact child services and go, my mum hit me, and it's like, and it's
that's part of a soft society too.
Yeah.
If it's like if I grab my nephew by the arm like firmly and pull him away, I did not touch him the wrong way. I just told him, made it clear that I'm not liking what he's doing. And he think it hurts, but not too much. So he think it hurts, so he won't do it again. That's what it is. I actually agree with you. Don't slap people too hard. But my mom did it too with like a slipper. She she hit me once on my ass and it was fine. It hurts. I could tell you could not sit for an hour, and then you would learn that it's not the right thing. But am I emotionally scarred? Nope. Am I glad she did it in the end? Yes. Not, but not at that point.
You learned a lesson.
Yeah.
We
I deserved it,
we got smacked with whatever was close. So
Yeah.
and KP will tell you the same thing. If my mom was in the kitchen and she had a wooden spoon near her, that's
I was going to say wooden spoon. I've heard.
They hurt too.
Yeah.
Like a
But like
bitch.
I feel like I became a better person and a better mom because I kind of understood as I got older, like there needed to be consequences. Like Mia at 11 years old stood in the corner for an hour because she stole something. Like, so Paul came home with a bunch of $2 bills, which are very rare. And he got them from someone at work as payment. So he did a job for someone and they paid him in $2 bills. So it was really cool to have them because you don't see them very often. So we were going to stick them in our safe box and have them for, a long time from now when they would be worth something more. And she stole them and spent all but like 5 of them at school on like ice creams and chips, and we didn't even know until one day like they were gone. And it was just like mind boggling. Like she had never done anything like that before. It was like, wow, what? Like I don't even how. And she lied and lied and lied and lied incessantly, like did not tell the truth. And finally I would just go stand in the corner. You're 11 years old. I shouldn't have to do this to you, but go stand in the corner. She stood there for an hour and cried. And I'm like, you're lucky I didn't beat you. Like that
Yeah.
was that action, not only the stealing, but then the lying on top of it.
Yeah, the
That
lying is
to
worse.
me
Yeah.
is a offense that you should get smacked for. But we didn't. We chose the corner. Now guess what? She didn't do it again. When I was young, and this isn't my fault, and you're gonna know this, but God, I got in trouble for it. My sister Nicole was probably, I want to say she was like 8 or 9. I was using nail polish remover to take nail polish off, so I had it in like a cup, and I just like put the cup in the sink and just walked away when I was done with it. And I was like playing video games or something, like I was just doing something. Well, dummy pulled the cup out of the sink and drank some of it. I'm like, why
Explains
would
a lot.
Yeah.
So my mom was like super livid, like so mad because she drank nail polish remover. Luckily, like she didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. It wasn't enough. But she beat the hell out of me and then kicked me out of the house. So I was like standing outside, just like standing there crying and like pacing. I was like walking around in circles. And I was probably 10 years old, maybe 11, maybe 11. I don't even think I was that old. And it's like, even though it was not my fault. Like Nicole should not have done that. You don't just pick up random glasses out of the sink to drink it. My kids know that. But maybe they only know that because I went through this. I don't know. Maybe they're just smart. I have no idea. But
It's like really easy.
did I do it again? No, I never did that again.
Yep.
Even as an adult, like anything I put in the sink is always dumped.
Yep.
Because I learned my lesson.
I think that's a motherly instinct too from your mom, that she went like with a heavy reaction because it's your kid and there's like literally on the back of you drink this, there's a great possibility you die.
Right.
So I get it that she reacted it onto you, but nowadays people will indeed say, "Oh, you beat your kids, you're a bad parent, you're going to jail for this," and I'm like, how? It's like correcting. It's like a lesson. We can all make mistakes. That's what we do. That's why we're not perfect. But except for you, Skill, because you're damn near perfect.
You're so perfect.
But that's what you do. Just you make mistakes to learn from them, and if it's like standing in a corner, and after you learn from that. But people nowadays need to learn their actions, like what the outcome will
Explain this
be.
to me. Those same people are the people that if they got a puppy would put a shock collar on that dog
You
to
did
stop
too.
them from biting, to stop them from leaving the yard. But they won't discipline their child.
Yeah,
Yep.
because they think it's wrong. Yeah,
But a
yeah.
child can learn in a wider expanse than a dog.
Yeah.
Like a dog only has so much that it can learn.
Yeah.
As a human, we have so much to learn about the world, and you're not willing to discipline your child, but you're willing to discipline your dog.
Yeah.
A dog
Yeah.
that can't sometimes control certain habits because it's a prey animal. Like it, that does not make any sense to me. And that it like hurts your soul for things like that, where you see these kids that were not disciplined as a
Mm.
kid. Like you see them in high school or middle school who just act like the world revolves around them and that they can do whatever they want to people. And it's like, no, like we're trying to create a
But that's
community of caring,
but
and
that's
that's
the
not what's
thing.
happening.
And that will create like an unstable next generation because they all think they can be untouched and they are not. Like it's a reality check. When I worked for a man that was like almost eligible for his pension, so 64. So he came out of a whole other generation. So he did stuff different than what I did. I disciplined my staff other than he did. He was like yelling at them a lot and stuff, and I chose like the soft approach but still firm. So whenever something's not done right, I always learn into leading. Like a leader always works the hardest, doesn't matter what. It's always, I was there 80 hours a week and people were like, you're invisible, and I'm like, did you really see what I do daily? Like I'm working 12 hours a day just to clean up some of your mess. I literally changed shifts with somebody one day, like no, 2 days in a row. He said, wow, your job's easy, and I'm like, okay, let's switch, let's do it. And then I went on a working floor and I had the time of my life, and he came running back like 4 hours later, like, so hard, I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, yeah, it's because of what I do. And
Yeah.
it's the same, it's like the generation thing too. We are getting a generation of people who are mentally unstable because they think they can do everything they want. That's the problem. That's why we have mental health problems, because we are not
Snowflakes.
disciplined enough, I think.
Yeah.
Some happy with what I am, but I I really think it's a shame that people need to bully, but they will get it eventually that it's not right. I'm not proud of this, but sometimes I said nasty stuff to people too when I was a kid. But would I do it now? Definitely not, because I've learned to have respect for everyone. Because that's what you said too, Skel. That's what my mom and my granddad said too. Treat others the way you want to be treated. If you are bad mouthing somebody else, then you can expect them to do it back.
Yep.
And you can't complain about it because you started it. That's nothing.
Yeah, I agree, and you're right. Like I did, some stupid things and like said some really nasty things to like people. When I was younger. In fact, that's probably the. I would think that's the reason that me and Paulden ended up becoming such good friends, because I actually, when we first met, probably would say bullied him, and then when I found something out about his like family situation, I went, crap, I feel so bad now for like what I've done. And that was just because it was a weird thing where I considered him a friend, but at the same time I was like, I'm quite happy to like say certain things about you, and then when I found out a certain thing, I was like, like I now feel really, really bad for what I did, and then I was like, I'm going to make sure I make it up to him. And I think that's how we then managed to get like so close, was just because from that point I kind of worked out, well, actually, you know what, he's a really sound guy, and yeah, we'll just
I'll
it's
link
20
this episode. I'll
20.
link this episode to Paul,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
otherwise he will not believe that you said nice words to him
But
I
that's
know.
like
without it.
that is like some of it. Like you don't know what people are
Yeah,
dealing with in their home lives. Like you don't
Mm.
know, you know, how they fare on a daily basis. Like it's so sad that like people will just just relentlessly go after these people. Like you could be dealing with a death in your family, or you're putting food on the table because your parent is a drug addict. Like you
yeah,
don't know. So that comes, Skell, that's exactly what we're talking about with the parenting. Like you inside have a conscience
yes,
that as soon as you realized what was happening, you were like, oh crap, like
yeah,
I don't want to make it worse. I
yeah.
want to be there for my friend.
And I went around, so that it wasn't just me. There was like, I think there was two or three other guys who were like saying the same sort of thing as I was. And as soon as I realized what I'd been saying and like how much it probably was impacting him, I then went and made sure that they didn't do the same as well. And I mean, thankfully, we were all obviously well kind of brought up, because everyone agreed, yeah, okay, we need to, and we were only 7 or 8 or whatever at the time, so
But there's a lot of people that do not have the
no,
conscience you have,
exactly,
and they'll just bully, and that's what I'm really worried about too. I read a story of a guy who didn't have branding clothes, like they didn't have their family was not rich, so they were just eating if they
yeah,
could just afford food and stuff, which is fine, by the way. But he didn't wear brand clothes, so he didn't wear Nike shoes or whatever. He got it at a second retailer, and people were bullying him
yeah,
about it every day. And this guy, in the end, took his own life because people bullied him that much, and they didn't even see the consequence of what they're doing. And that's what I'm afraid of too. If you like, a child's mind is so fragile, so you need to teach them what to do. But if people would have told me every day for like 6, 7 years that I'm shit, that I am not worth anything, stuff like that, stuff, horrible stuff people say, then I would believe that too, and I would be like, oh, let's end it anyways. So I'm so glad that there's like programs for it now, and that there's more attention to stuff like this. And especially now, because we live in a day and age where if you get bullied, people will act out, but not in a good way.
yeah, yeah,
Right back to the entitledness of these kids. Like, when we grew up, and it's funny because Paul said this like a couple months ago. When we grew up and in high school, the cars, once we started driving, that came into the parking lot were like broke down, like rust on them, like
mm,
shitty cars. And there were some nice ones. Like there were a couple kids who had like, new cars or cars that were newer who were handed down from their parents. But for the most part, like we all had crap cars.
yeah,
And now you go into a high school parking lot and it's like
yeah,
BMWs and Explorers and brand new trucks. And it's like, teach your kid to work
yeah,
for what they have, because these people don't want to work. In
yeah,
America, they want to be on welfare. They want to be socialists where, everybody shares it. So it doesn't matter if Fox works 12 hours a day, I
Mhm.
can work nothing and still share the same amount of, whatever, utilities, everything. And it's like, no, our society is going downhill because people do not want to work. People don't want to work hard. Those millionaires worked their ass off to get there. And if you watch any of their documentaries, most of them started from nothing
And
and they
most of them
worked
still
so
work
hard.
90 hours
yeah,
a week.
Exactly. But, people in society don't care about that. They're just like, oh my God, they have all this money. Yeah, they worked for it. Like they deserve to
yeah,
have money. And you know what? They give to charities because if they give to charities, they get a tax break. So they're always giving and giving and giving. They pay more in taxes. Like, what more do you want from them? If you want to be a millionaire, get your ass out and go work. Go
It's just
do something.
mentality.
Yeah.
It's just
It
my
is. It's
my
so
granddad
sad.
just opened. That's why he got wealthy. He opened like a Windows XP store for like computers in the early age. So he ran programs, and he's really good at stuff like that. So he got more involved. Then he got his own company. Then he got more and more. But he worked 80 to 90 hours a week for 10 years straight. And then now he's doing a bit less, of course, but he's still working every day because he can't let it go. It's a workaholic in general, but people don't see stuff like that. Like if you're at the top of a company, you don't see, or at the bottom, you don't see what the top does, but it's really important too.
Yeah.
That's the
Doesn't
problem.
it make you feel good to work? Like, I
Definitely.
feel like
We
I accomplish something every single day. And I mean, my job's different because I work with kids and like teach them things. And that's amazing to me that they learn. But I mean, even when I was a waitress, like, I thought every day when I left work, I don't care how tired I was, how much I didn't want to go to work, I felt like I accomplished something. If I sat at home on welfare and was able to do something and I just sat there and collected a check, I feel like my mental health would then deteriorate because I'm not using my brain. I'm not working and
Mm.
accomplishing things and, problem solving and stuff like that. Like, I have kids. I can take care of my kids and also work. It is good for you to have that challenge. And I feel like if I didn't work, I would be miserable. I wouldn't
yeah, like
have anything to
Yeah.
escape from.
my parents told me if you want to have something, just work for it. So I was 14. I wanted to buy the PlayStation, and I did. I saved like after like a span. Of course, I didn't work 40 hours a week, but like I did like the whole summer, and I got 200 euros, and then my dad said, "Okay, well, I'll pay the other 100 for you because you're saving, and that's good. You're buying, you're working for something that you really want." And that's indeed where you come to as well, Cass, that if I would have gotten a Land Rover or like a big car for my parents and they're like, oh, here you go, instead of like a crappy one, I wouldn't want to work either.
Yeah.
Because I get anything anyways if I ask for it. That's the problem. And at least I'm so happy to work for everything I have, because that's like that made me so proud of what I have become and what I have. Like my computer, I worked my ass off for this, and I'm so happy that I did it because I can fairly enjoy it because I worked for it. I saved for it. It's good. That's what it is for me, at least.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. I think, like we said in the beginning, there's some things that we're getting right, like talking about mental health more and things like that. I know I actually wanted to give a bit of a shout out here because I was talking to Chaotic Kitten, or Mia, yesterday on her stream, and she was talking about a book that she's writing about men's like mental health and their eating disorder, and the fact that it's not being talked about much in society. Well, she's apparently 3 chapters in, I think, or something. So yeah, no, I think that's
She has it on Wattpad. It's like a I guess kind of like a blog type deal. But she has like people who keep asking for
yeah.
chapters, and so
Hey,
she keeps
where can you
knocking
link
them.
it to me afterwards? Because I want to read
Yeah, yeah,
that for
yeah.
sure.
I can have her send it to you.
Well,
Definitely.
what we can do is, and we talked about a little bit about like suicide and things. I think we'll put in a couple of links below for so like each like country that we live in, like people that you can talk
Suicide
to.
prevention
Yeah,
and stuff.
suicide prevention. We'll put in
Um,
Mia's
I
thing as well as a bit of a link so that people
I
can read
can't
that.
stress this enough. If you're watching, listening this podcast, you're enjoying it. If you have something going on, we are here. We all have socials. You can always talk to us. I much rather if you are not feeling right, if you want somebody to talk to you, please contact one of us.
Yep.
We'll always help you. Of course, we're in different time zones, so if we don't reply immediately, don't get discouraged. Just do it. If you need help, look for help. Doesn't matter who it is, even if it's your neighbor for who's like 90. If you can talk to him, be there for him, or the other way around, if he can be there for you, please do
Yep.
it. Like taking a life or taking your own life is not the solution.
No.
100% not, because you are special in your own kind of way. 100%. You may not see it at this moment, but you will. Promise. I promise you that.
Yeah, and you know, life is difficult and you hit some very bad rough patches. But even though it may take a little while or a long while, it does get better. You know, that's
And that's how we learn.
yeah, exactly. Well, with that, I think that's a good place to end the podcast. So thank you very much for everyone who's been listening. Make sure every Friday, 6 p.m. Wait, no, what is it? 6 p.m. GMT, 7 p.m. Central European Time, and 1 p.m. EST.
Yeah.
Socials are down
You did a
below.
great job.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you very much for everyone who's watched or listened. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, by the way, I wanna make a little quick remark. If you have something you want us to talk about, please set it in the comments too.
Yeah.
That's really important because we like to talk about a lot of stuff, and we keep rambling because that's what we do. But if you want to focus on a different kind of topic, like we are kind of keeping away from like the whole political thing because that's a whole opinion in its own. But the rest, if you want to talk about something, just drop it in the comments.
Yeah, we'll probably start the beginning of the next episode off saying that as well, just so we catch people. But yeah, definitely agree with that. We want to try and get people suggesting stuff. I mean, it makes my life a little bit easier planning these things, but but no, it's good to get the audience's input, because you know we want to know what people want to talk about, and we'll obviously give our opinions, and we'll discuss kind of how that is between the three of us, since we live in different countries.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.